So maybe let's just start with a simple page, like just anything, right? Echo, uh, hello, sure. And now if we go to this page, local message manage, we should be able to see that. Local message manage.php. Cool, hello. So I want to build up this page to be able to actually see our messages and see a form to create a new message inside as well that gets submitted and creates a message in the database. So to start with, we're going to need to require the config file, and you'll do that with a command like this. So this is just a basic PHP tool. Use this dir to get the directory of the file, and we want to get the config file. So that kind of will make sure that Moodle is set up. And it'll also mean that our global variables are set up as well. So we're going to start using them without actually initializing them, and it might look weird, but they're already set up. So to actually get a page to work like this, we need to tell Moodle a few things about our page. So the first thing we need to do is kind of set the URL. So this page variable is already initialized when Moodle does its initial config, so we don't have to set it again. But we have to tell Moodle what our URL is. Otherwise, we are going to get like a warning. Then we have to tell Moodle the context. This means we tell Moodle what level of the site we're at. And if we want to look at more about Moodle context, let's go to maybe a new tab, Moodle. So this is important to understand. In Moodle, there's a concept of context, and here we're going to make it the system context, which means it's kind of the most broad, important context of the site, but we can have a more specific one, which means that this particular page only applies within a course or within a course category, something like that. But here we're just making it system-wide. Okay? And then we are going to also want to set a title, because the title displays in the tab of the page. So we'll do something like this, manage messages. Then what you want to do when you actually want to output the HTML, you use the Moodle core output variable. And this is actually linked to the output renderer area, output renderers, this. So all these functions here are kind of part of that output variable. And like for example, header would be in here. Header, course header, there's a lot of different headers. Function header, this is how it does that. So we want to output the header, then we want to output the footer as well, which right now is nothing. So let's do that. It gets overridden in the theme, so that's why they might not appear as anything in core, but the theme then can go in and put a different footer. And then in the middle of that, let's do something like hello in here. So this is kind of the basic building blocks of a page. So let's go back to our site, and we want to go to local message manage, and there we go. So we see our hello there, and we also see our title in the top, which is pretty nice, manage messages. So now I want to show you how to output this hello using a template instead of a hard-coded HTML like this, because this is quite ugly. So all we need to do, it's pretty easy. We just need to make a new directory called templates, and in there we'll do one file called manage.mustache. This is going to be the file for our manage page. So we set up a mustache file. Let's get the boilerplate code that we would want. if there's any here. I want to look in the theme and something like this. So that, and again with Moodle, we always want to put in the boilerplate code. And here the template is local message manage. And we don't have an example context yet, so I'll just leave that. And here we can put in some actual HTML. So, well, let's put in exactly what we had there in the template. Hello. So that's what I want to render. Now, how do we call it from here? Well, instead of echoing this, output render from template. We call this function, and we call it for our plugin local message manage, the name of the template. Now the render from template function takes two arguments. So it takes the template, which we got to spell correctly, but it also takes a template context, which we have to set up. The context is basically some variables that are passed into the template and used in here to render stuff. So let's set up that, and usually it's better to do it like this. You make an object but then an array, and you can easily kind of put stuff in here. So let's start with one thing, which would be text to display, and we can say that is, here is some text. So this is just an example. Now this text to display, I can use that in the template in here in manage. So let's go in there, and maybe under hello I'll start a paragraph, and in here I'll put text to display. So this is the way you do it, and there's a really good Moodle doc about this as well, Moodle templates, which is definitely worth a read. This one, templates Moodle docs. So this is how you do it, and this is kind of how you can render variables onto the page as well. And yeah, I've just passed in one here from PHP. So let's refresh the page, and we can see that here. So the page is displaying the same, but we're doing it in a much more Moodle way.